It's been 2 weeks since I started seeing some strange behavior of my wife. When she returned to the house following a night out with her close companions, she seemed distant and would not tell me where she had been. When I asked her about it, she just shrugged and said it wasn't important. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to approach her. Following an investigation into her behavior, I came to the conclusion that she was carrying an affair with a man who was part of my circle. Before we get started with the story, make sure you click the bell icon and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more heartbreaking tales. When I found out about everything, she was in the process of having breast cancer treatment at the same time. 4 months had passed prior to the malignancy being diagnosed. There was not a single problem. After that, in addition to her treatment, I did not restrict what she could do in any way. She began to see her friends on a more regular basis and began to hang out with them. Her health began to improve drastically and she was able to lead a normal life. She was very grateful for the support I had given her, both emotionally and logistically. Her recovery was a testament to her strength and determination. Once I was working at my business, my stepbrother gave me a call to tell me that my wife had been taken to the hospital. I asked him what exactly happened and he said as soon as she started throwing up and became unconscious. I finally questioned him how he was aware that she was in that predicament. He seemed anxious, so I questioned him once again about what had happened. He stated that she had phoned him, asking for assistance. I inquired as to the reason why she had not called me. She did not call me about, but instead reached out to you. He claimed that he was on his way from university when he received her call, hence he decided to pay us a visit because he was going to be in the area. Intention I overlooked. In any case, the medical professionals have informed me that they will have to admit her to the hospital for a few days. My stepbrother has returned home. I had possession of her mobile phone. I was at the hospital during that night. After that, I examined her cell phone style last list and saw that it was odd that there had not been a call from my stepbrother. I could not help but wonder why he was being dishonest with me. In less than a minute, the doctor gave me a call and requested that I take a few prescriptions that were not available at that particular hospital. Because I was so worried about her during all of this trouble, I did not pay attention to the things that were going on around me. She was released from the hospital after a stay of 4 days. She had made some progress towards recovery. After 2 or 3 days, she eventually resumed her previous routine and started going out. One of her closest friends visits her at our house on a regular basis. Additionally, it was her thought that she should include more enjoyment in her life. She believed that it would serve as a form of alternative treatment for her. In point of fact, my better half was enjoying all of this, therefore I gave her the go-ahead to do anything she pleased. Taking her friend's advice, she began to try new activities and hobbies. She even joined a local group that met every week. Her newfound sense of freedom was giving her a renewed sense of purpose and energy. However, the downside of this was that she used to drink, which led to a decline in her health. Therefore, I cautioned her. During the same evening, she was drunk and I was picking her up at home. I looked into her purse and discovered a condom packet. In point of fact, I had stowed away my own condom in one of my drawers. It seemed odd that she would carry around a condom with her all the times. When I asked her about it following morning, I noticed that she had a nervous look in her eyes. She explained her mistake by saying that she had put it in her bag by accident. Despite the fact that I also have faith in her, I am unable to explain why. Because of the state of her condition at the time, I simply felt an increased emotional connection to her. My stepbrother was friendly and outgoing with her. She used to call him whenever she needed assistance with anything she wanted. He was always there to help her out, and it made me feel secure knowing that she had someone to rely on. I realized that I had a strong bond with her and I was glad that my stepbrother could be there for her. I was relieved that she was not alone whenever I was at office. When I arrived home earlier than usual one day, my stepbrother was already in the living room watching the television with my wife. When I got into my bedroom, I noticed that there was something on my bedsheet that looked like a spot. I thought that was strange, so I inquired about it with her. She stated that our neighbor had come home and that her daughter had thrown the juice on the bed. I asked her why she had let her daughter sleep on our bed. She promised that she would never allow that again. When I came out of that point, my stepbrother was no longer there. I inquired about his whereabouts to her. She said that he had to leave since he had some essential works to do. I was a bit taken aback but didn't ask further questions. I couldn't help but feel a bit confused by what had just happened. The evening had arrived when she broke the news to me that she was going out. I cautioned her to cut back on her drinking. Due to the fact that she was running late, she forgot to bring her mobile phone. After she had left, her mobile phone began to ring repeatedly throughout the day. When I saw that there was a number of missed calls and messages on her mobile phone, I decided not to answer it. The notification bar only displayed a single message for me to read. I attempted to open her cell phone and saw a message, "Bitch, where are you? I am feeling high for you, come fast," on the notification bar. But it was not gotten open. I was surprised to learn that her mobile phone was protected by a passcode. Prior to that, she had never before set a password on any of her mobile devices. Within a few moments, she had dashed into the house, grabbing her mobile phone and gone. Because I had the impression that she was trying to conceal something, my stomach was in knots. I knew I had to find out what she was hiding, so I quietly decided to follow her and watched her every move. I was determined to get to the bottom of this mystery. Who exactly was this mystery sender of the message that was received? My goal was to gain an understanding of what was taking place. I reasoned that I ought to follow closely behind her, because I was no longer content with what I had. I had a hunch that her vehicle was equipped with a tracker. This would allow me to monitor her location via my laptop and determine the path she was taking. After checking it out, I discovered that she was at the pub. To get to the bar, I drove my own car. After searching for it, I was unable to locate her, but I did find her closest friend. I approached her and inquired about the whereabouts of my wife. She was taken aback when she saw me there. She mentioned that she had recently left the bar. I inquired as to the destination of her trip. She mentioned that she was going to head home. I inquired as to the reason why she wasn't going to accompany you. She did not provide an answer that was appropriate to my question. I thanked her for her help and left. I decided to head to our home. On my way, I was filled with a mixture of emotions, worry, fear, and anticipation. When I returned home, she had not yet come. After 40 minutes, she arrived at her residence. When I arrived, the first thing she asked me was, "Why did you come to the bar?" I asked, "Who informed you?" She didn't answer, but she kept questioning me about what had happened, so I went to check on her. "I told you I was there because I was concerned about you, and that's why I was there." I did not disclose the truth because it's possible that she was angry. I inquired of her, "Who informed you?" She did not respond and instead entered the room. I began to have suspicions that she was having an affair with someone else while we were together. I felt a deep sense of betrayal and pain. I wanted to confront her, but I already knew it wasn't the right time. I decided to leave and come back when she was calmer. Regarding this matter, I came to the conclusion that I ought to seek assistance from a private investigator. Therefore, the next day I went to visit a private investigator who had been recommended to me by a friend. I filled him in on the complete picture for him, and he immediately began to work on my affair. When I got back to my house after being there, while my wife was in the room, I got the impression that she was chatting and joking with another person. When I opened the door, she was sitting in the living room while on the laptop. After I opened the door, she became silent for a moment. I get the impression that she is apprehensive about something. I inquired about her attire and I inquired about the person she was speaking with. I asked her why she was wearing that clothing. Her speech was stuttering, but she nevertheless set the laptop down, said she was talking to her friend. and in a very romantic way, moved closer to me and started kissing me. Her voice was stuttering. Her friend was chatting to her. She reported that she was experiencing some fantasy today. She managed to entice me in some way, and as a result, we had some bad time. We both enjoyed and felt pleased with the experience. I was amazed at how she had managed to make me feel desired, and I could tell she was feeling the same way. After our lovely evening together, I went to sleep. My sleep was quite light, and as a result, I am easily startled up by even the slightest noise. So at midnight, after receiving a call, she excused herself and left the room. I remained in my room and observed her while she was there. After approximately 25 minutes had passed, I left the room. She was in a different room which was locked at the time. I strained my ears to pick up any trace of a voice or other voice emanating from the room, but there was nothing. I spent the next 5 minutes observing the entire situation. After waiting for 5 minutes, I pounded on the door. I knocked on the door once more, but she did not respond when I called out to her. When she opened the door, I noticed that her hair was in a different position than it had been before, and her brow was a little bit off. I inquired as to what it was that she was focusing on. She said that she was doing nothing but listening to music. I inquired about this at this time. She mentioned that in order to fall asleep, she sometimes listened to the music. It seemed to me that she was intentionally deceiving me. She indicated that she will show up in a short while. I noticed that the large window in that room was cracked open only partially, and that the crack led out to your yard. When I questioned her why the window was open, she stated that she was in need of some clean air. I told her that I am interested in joining her in listening to music, and she agreed. Her expressions shifted as she listened to the music on her mobile, and after a few minutes she announced that she wanted to go to sleep. She turned in for the night. I gave the room my complete attention. In addition, as I looked out the window, I discovered a thread from a red clothing. It has been brought to my attention that someone was here for her. In any case, after a period of 2 days, she began getting ready for a night out with the girls. I informed the private investigator through SMS that she was about to leave the office. I was aware that if she engaged in any kind of activity tonight, it would be exposed in front of me, and I was prepared for that possibility. That night, she arrived home at 12 in the evening. I was about to give the investigator a call, or in the aim of following day. I was in the living room when I heard a loud crash coming from the bedroom. After racing there, I arrived just in time to see her laying on the ground. I was able to get her to the hospital, and the physician told me that she missed her most recent chemotherapy visit because she forgot that it was 2 days ago. I was to blame for that as well, because I was so focused on punishing her for her offense that I neglected her therapy. Now she was feeling quite ill. I was yelling at myself because I completely forgot about her treatment and focused on her suspicious behavior. I was there to accompany her throughout her entire stay in the hospital. I was completely oblivious to everything that was going on around me. Even I was clueless about where my mobile phone could be found. As soon as I got back to my house, I changed out my clothes because they had been so soiled. At my house, I discovered an envelope. After I had finished changing my clothes, I went back to the hospital and picked the item. I didn't have the time to stay at home. I opened the envelope after I arrived at the hospital. When I opened it, I saw a message in which the investigator had written that he had photographs of my wife and another boy making out and kissing and grabbing one another. I noticed that the boy in question was my stepbrother. While I was looking at all of those photographs, my heart dropped and the ground seemed to be moving out from under me. I couldn't help but keep looking at those photos over and over to be sure that they were not photoshopped. But those were actual events that took place, because she needed my assistance at the same moment. I was in excruciating discomfort over what I should do. My chest felt like I was going to burst. I am completely speechless and unable to address her. I spoke on the phone with my stepbrother and warned him not to ever, under any circumstances, attempt to reveal me his face. After a few weeks, she had improved her condition somewhat. After that, I brought her home, displayed those images to her, and then instructed her to part ways with me. As expected of a cheater, she asked me to forgive her behavior, but I made my decision and I gave her divorce. I don't know for sure, but based on how my life has turned out, I think that was the best decision I ever made. I was sad to end the relationship, but I knew it was for the best. I felt a sense of relief and freedom. I was ready to move forward with my life and create a better future for myself.